Sonic Frontiers, not to be confused with high-end audio equipment, was highly anticipated, mixedly received and released on everything, along with the most generic back-of-the-box words I've seen. The only standout phrase is the 5 open zones, with 3 sharing a grassy aesthetic. Actually, one's a mini-zone, so make that 4 in a bit. When starting a new game, everyone should choose speed high and difficulty hard. While in options, make sure all speed meters are maxed. Don't worry, Sonic Frontiers is still easy. Besides, the difficulty can be changed anytime. Prepare to be inundated in the first hour with prompts and a monotone, ominous voice explaining the game mechanics and story. An early sign of Sonic Frontiers' overcomplexity. Now you're finally free to reap the land of its resources, which you need gears, vault keys and a plethora of memory tokens to progress the story. Everything else is optional, but collecting along the way helps. Unfortunately, Sonic Team were looking over the shoulder of Ubisoft when designing Sonic Frontiers, using waypoints to expand your view of the map where you play simple minigames to complete. Not to mention the map's abundance of icons scattered everywhere, which you're expected to collect. You obtain these grinding on the network of floating rails, an eyesore to the nice scenery. Also, you simply need to pick up too much shite to progress. Derivative? What's that mean? Sonic Frontiers is clicky, and I don't mean socially, like the extra clicks to select options and menus, as well as repeat cutscenes collecting emeralds and unlocking a cyber stage. Thankfully you can skip the latter, but why are they here? Oh wait, you can't skip the cutscenes, we're trying a boss fight. On previous generations and Switch, Sonic Frontiers runs at 30 instead of 60 frames per second, and loading times are long. Though in Sonic Frontiers' favour, I never noticed the frames per second. Oddly, all systems report subtle object pop-in as Sonic runs. Disappointingly, Sonic's dash is no longer an attack and is slower until he maxes ring capacity. I want that oomph now. Frontiers tells one of Sonic's stronger game stories, even if it lulls in places. Eggman wakes the Ancients to study their technology but gets sucked into a gate. Get used to him sitting in cyberspace for most of the game, letting his creations do all the work. Must do more next time. Interestingly, Sega places a big plot point on a throwaway line lyric spouts in Sonic Boom. But there's one small problem. Here, the Ancients look different. Shouldn't they be snakes like Lyric since he's the last survivor? Or are they these animal people from the Archie comics? If they're different, don't call both groups the Ancients. It's confusing. For all the fan service in Sonic Frontiers, Sega really drops the ball here. Back to the story, everyone except Sonic gets digitalized, with each open zone having a friend to save. Make sure to watch Sonic Frontiers prologue animation on YouTube to explain how Knuckles got here. All 3 friends react to the Coco who the story revolves around. They were fine in the Amy saga, but I quickly got sick of them. No Ant Dude, I don't want to see them again. Everyone's so serious. You're a blue Speedy Hedgehog for God's sake. Also, why do Sonic and Knuckles constantly smile at each other? Sonic never looks at Amy like that. To Frontiers' credit, I find Sonic's chats of other characters offer good world building. They give reasoning behind current events and go into the characters' past motives. Each zone has you doing the same tasks, which irks me. I'd rather have more variety if it meant less content. Sonic Frontiers is designed like a live service game without actually having in-game purchases. At least Sonic Team / Sega hasn't crossed that line yet. The first world was fine. The desert's boring though, especially when you realise you're doing the same thing as in the first world. For some reason, probably because it's Sonic, I slogged through it and I felt bummed out afterwards. Sega doesn't believe in too much in-your-face fan service. For example, Knuckles won't shut up about Angel Island and the Mystic Ruins. Also, every cyberspace level is heavily inspired by a past game stage. As much as I'm fond of past Sonic's experiences, I'd rather have new ones, even if they aren't as memorable. Easter eggs should be finite and obscure, like a mini-boss who fights like Zero from Sonic Adventure 1, and even that's pushing it. The environments look super realistic, even on my original Xbox One, apart from the random grind rails plastered all over the map. What is this, Sonic grinding of Tony Hawk? Cutscenes and character animations are also good for the most part. Some small details are missing on X-Bone, like the bristles on Sonic's quills, but I don't give two Fs. We do see Sonic's worn soul in a few cutscenes, if you're into that. Because it's an open world and the tone is somber, the music follows suit so you don't get sick of it. Meanwhile, rockin' tracks play during main boss fights, though only half of most songs were actually good. Cyberstage music is a bag of revels. You don't know if you're getting something nice or rotten. The music speeds up when boosting in cyberspace. You know, you get that in plenty of games like Spyro Reignited Trilogy, but it's a nice touch. Sonic controls quite differently to forces. Rather than run fast through tilting the control stick, you need to hold R, like in Sonic Lost World. And like in Lost World, I rarely had a reason to let go of it, meaning that 2/3 through Frontiers, I have a slightly creaky R trigger. Thanks, Sonic team. Remember you had to press square to homing attack in Sonic Unleashed? And Sega undid it in the next Sonic game because nobody liked it? Well, it's back. What do you mean you're too young to remember? It takes a while to readjust from what you've been doing for so long, like pressing the right trigger to air dash instead of the jump button, or pressing the homing attack button to swing instead of jump. Also, who wants to click the left stick to light speed dash? That's the worst button on a controller! At least it's not used much. But there's cool stuff too, guys. Sonic's got combos! He starts these for his new ability, punching and kicking. He can spin in a circle for everything, Sonic Boom and Ground Pound. The homing attack has worked in past games and was stronger, but enemies usually die quick from combos. What doesn't kill them quickly is parrying, which half the time didn't work. Oddly, you need to press the shoulder bumpers to parry a few seconds before Sonic's hit. Shouldn't this be milliseconds, not seconds? Is Sega accommodating Old Man River's shaky hand delay when he wants to fit in with the young people? Combos unlock through upgrades, which allow Sonic to kill mini bosses with ease, even on hard mode. Special Coco also increase Sonic's speed, ring capacity, power, or defense by exchanging collectibles. Interesting, Sonic fans complain about upgrades in Sonic and the Secret Rings, but not Frontiers. Some, call me Johnny, say cyber stages are Frontiers' worst feature. They are the best feature, since they actually incorporate Sonic level design. I think these bite-sized forces-like stages are fine, though nothing special since there's only 4 themes and they copy and paste the game stages. I had to turn on motion blur for these because Sonic would blend into the background. Oddly, you can't move Sonic with the arrows even in 2D. I assume this will be patched. In reality, the worst section is Big Rigs Fishing, which is thankfully optional. It's a dead brain minigame where you watch the circle and press a button. An insult to Big's Fishing in Sonic Adventure 1. Also, it's the only part where the graphics spasm out. Here's improvements I would suggest to Sonic Team for the sequel. Include variety of zone themes or make them all one massive open world. Collectibles should be optional instead of Sonic needing to go on a wild goose chase. Get rid of the Assassin's Creed waypoints, they won't be missed. Make challenging puzzles or none at all. The only good ones are the statue laser and the pinball puzzles. Yeah, I said it. Don't pander to the kids with the rap, metallic and heavy metal. It doesn't fit with Sonic. Cut down on the grind rails and the boost pads. Instead, build Sonic's level design on the open zones, like creating loops, ramps, using the aesthetic, but don't overuse these at the same time. My conclusion, Sonic Frontiers isn't as good or bad of a game as what a lot of reviewers are making it out to be. The foundation is set. It's a fun game if you can dig through the bloat, but that's a big ask of the player, especially since Frontiers doesn't respect your time. Because of that, I'm only giving it a 3 out of 5. B as in back to the drawing board, Sega and Sonic Team, for the sequel in 2026.